you know, Snow White, Pinocchio, Bambi, Dumbo, they not only look different, but they move different.
Yeah.
Because when you're animating with a pencil, you can just do it, whatever you want to do.
Right.
Now you've got this giant tool between you and the animation, this software, and you're setting keys and you're using, you know, curves and everything. It's a kind of everybody's doing the same thing. Number one, is it possible to be distinctive on a film? And did you try to have a distinctive style on this film? And what was different about this film than other films?
I think it's absolutely possible to. I think every film has its own style. I mean, you look at stuff like Lego Movie or Cloudy, and they are obviously really going for a particular style. On this film, we really wanted to have sort of two styles. I wanted to do kind of what we called the street version, which was a little bit more of just a caricatured reality, a little bit more grounded, a little bit more realistic, but still caricatured, much like the characters are caricatured real people. And since it's an origin story, I wanted to start at something that was more grounded and more real. And as they build into superheroes, we could push into the superhero style. And so by the end of the film, we were really trying to push our timing, push our spacing, kind of push the dynamics of the physics of the world in order to make it feel like a comic book or like anime, since they are very, very similar in their styles. But at Disney, we also are, like I said, so much about that pose and so much about the appeal of the character and making sure that story is king and that we are doing everything we can to facilitate the story.
They're all humanoid characters. They're all bipeds, the main leads. How many of your animators are using live-action reference, and to what degree do they rely on it?
It depends on the animator. I mean, some animators use it on every shot if they can. I mean, obviously there's certain shots where you're flying through the air that you can't do video reference. And Baymax shots, we didn't use a whole lot of video reference, although sometimes we would. But it depends on the animator's preference. Some will do sketch passes, and their blocking pass will actually be a 2D drawing pass. Some will use kind of stick figures and stuff like that. And really, we don't really care. It's whatever allows you to communicate where you want to go and the emotion that you want to get across and the performance that you want to get across as early as possible so that we can start communicating. That's really all we care about, so it just depends on personal preference.
We saw very briefly those drawovers by Marquand,
Yep.
the way they actually sit at a Cintiq, and they're 2D animators that draw over 3D
Yep.
poses, and Glenn Keane started that. Now those guys are Disney DNA that we talked about from the beginning. That's right back. Is that the thing that makes still Disney animation different from any other studio, or what would you say is the thing? Because I think there is a difference.
I think it's one of the things. I think drawing is such a huge part of our process through the entire pipeline, and in the animation department, it is crucial. It is, like I said, it's the only way that we can communicate at this point. I do drawovers, the directors do drawovers, Mark did drawovers on Zootopia, Alex Cooper-Schmidt is doing drawovers for Tech Anim even. And so we're really trying to push that 2D aesthetic into our CG, because I think a lot of times with CG, the tendency is to accept what the computer is giving you. And it's very easy to go, yeah, that looks pretty good, and you're done. But when you draw it, you make a choice as to what exactly you want it to look like. And if you draw over it and you go, well, that's not what I actually have underneath, well, then you're going to have to push yourself further. And so, again, going back to that pose is everything, those drawings are really going to tell you to push that pose, because are you saying that the character's sad, or are you saying that the character's concerned? And those are slightly different, and that drawing is going to tell you that.
Well, Zach, terrific job as animation supervisor, and your first time out, pretty amazing. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.